Ready? Yeah. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We are on the ending of this journey on the books of the Torah. Interestingly enough, I know that many of us sometimes we do not understand the Jewish traditions. But after the 17th of Tammuz, that was last week, we start a new weeks, and we call it the weeks of sorrow. 3 weeks on the roll, we have the week of sorrow, and then after that we have 7 more weeks for the weeks of Teshuvah, preparing us for the high holidays, preparing us for Rosh Hashanah, especially for Yom Kippur. And then the Haftorah basically has very little to do with the readings, has to do more with the idea about being disobedient to our Creator, and we suffer the consequences for our disobedience. And that disobedience comes from the top to the bottom, from the priests, from the prophets, from the leaders. This is something that I can tell you I am seeing more and more today in our wake of life, in the world especially, and especially if we can talk about Israel. There is a problem that sometimes we do not want to face it, and we do not want to confront it. And this problem is that we are not being honest with ourselves, and we are not honest with other people. Why? Because we are afraid to be labeled as bigots, or being labeled as people who are fanatics, or people that we do not have enough clarity in our thoughts. You see, we are in a world today, there are two sides, two extremes, and this is the problem. From one side, you have the extreme of the fanatics, and from the other side, you have the extreme of the fanatics. Two extremes. The only difference is the fanaticism changed the colors, but both sides are fanatics. Believe me or not. Those so-called liberal are fanatics. And they are so fanatic that they honestly believe that they are the only ones that are right. And the poor rest of the world, the people who do not understand them, or they are not like them, they are people that are limited in their way of thinking and the way of doing things. From the other side, you have the other extreme fanatics, okay? The religious fanatics, who they believe that they are the only one that are right and the rest of the world is wrong. And they are the only one that has all the answers for everything. And the answer for everything is according to what the religion tells us. And this second group of these fanatics, they believe that killing people is the solution, destroying people. No? Well, we need to be in the center. And the center is interesting. Our Messiah Yeshua told us, the way to perdition, the way to be lost is very wide. But the way to do the things right, to the way to righteousness, the way to go there is very narrow. And you need to be careful where do you go. We are in times in which, we want it or not, our opinions are valid, but we are afraid to give it. Why we are afraid to give it? Because we do not want to hurt feelings. Today is more important that you don't hurt feelings than to tell the truth. For example, it's obvious that today most of the Western governments, Europe and America, they are having a problem with certain groups, but they don't want to call it for what it is, because they are afraid they are going to hurt certain feelings, But I'm going to tell you, if you are in those groups that are doing the horrible things, or you belong to that religion, stand up and say publicly that you are not part of them. And totally reject that type of behavior. But that's not what is happening. You know, everybody's hush, hush, hush. Don't pronounce the name. The other thing, the way of life. We are now in a situation that everything is permissible. Everything is okay. You know, we are in the generation of the 60s when that book came. You are okay, I am okay, everybody is okay. And the truth of the matter is nobody is okay. And then what is happening? You know, we cannot say, for example, that we disagreed about certain type of behavior. Because if you say publicly that you disagree about certain type of behavior, you are a bigot. You are a fanatic. You are a religious fanatic. You know? And you cannot say any longer that certain type of behavior are wrong. Totally the contrary. You need to bow your head and to say, what a wonderful thing. The most important thing in the world right now is love. You know? And it's a caricature of this love. And you know, then the demagoguery, it is on the air. And it's not whether you really believe, it's whether you want to tell people because what the people want to hear. Those who have itchy ears. And then you speak for these people. And you are becoming what I called before. Most of these prophets, modern prophets, like Bilam, they become what I call it politicians. And you know, I do not have too much respect for politicians. By the way, they must be good, honest politicians. But the great majority, because what I see in the news and what I am constantly looking at, what I see is that they don't speak to you the truth. Because you speak the truth, all the news, all the journalists, everybody goes against you. You know, if you say something that's true, everybody attack you. Who would you dare to say those things? How do you go against those people? Because we need to be goody-goody to everybody. We cannot any longer to mention the word true. The truth is something that is applicable to depending to whom you are talking about. There is only one truth, but here now we have millions of truths, depending who he say it and how they say it. We don't any longer, we call lie to lie. No, it is only different opinion, a different way of seeing, a different way of explaining. We are in a very critical situation today in the world. Lack of honesty. And it's interesting that this parasha of this morning, that is a double parasha, that is called, you know, Matot and Masei. Matot, the tribes, and Masei, the journeys. The journey that Israel made during the beginning of the exit, the Yetziah, from Egypt, from Israel, to the Promised Land. And that process of the 40 years, you know, they counted 42 journeys. And I say to somebody that the 42 is only allegorical, not to give us an idea. 7 by 6. 7 is the completion, and 6 men. Now, it's a beautiful, beautiful picture. But at the beginning of Matot, immediately comes with the idea of vows. This brings to me in Yeshua, when he spoke in the Sermon on the Mountain, when he talks about that we don't need to swear for anything, and that our yes needs to be yes and our no needs to be no. You know, we cannot swear for the heavens and for the earth. The heaven is the place of our Creator, and the earth is where our Creator stand up, and we cannot even change the color of our hair. You know, we cannot do anything. Then our yes needs to be yes and our no needs to be no. And in other words, do not make vows. And if you make vows, as as the Torah teaches this morning, we need to keep our word. I remember my father, blessed be his memory, a businessman, and he gave me a great education, and also he showed me something about integrity. My father was not those of one that liked to sign papers. For him to check his hand with the other person, that was a business. And his checking hands, his word, was more important than 20,000 papers signed by anybody. If he gave his word, he will keep it. Today, we have a totally different mentality. Today, I call it, in Spanish we say, el vivo vive del tonto y el tonto vive de su trabajo. What means is the smart man make his money from the very no smart man. And the smart man lives from his own hard work. You know? And it is interesting. We're trying to utilize others for our own benefit. There is no any longer clean business. You know? And something that has come very important now, for example, bankruptcy. Instead to be something that is a last instance, now it is a tool that many people play. Even the great millionaires, you know, they use bankruptcy, you know, as a game. And they always go ahead. And who are the people who suffer? The little ones. We are living in a very chaotic world. And it's just this parasha at the ending, when our Creator is preparing Israel to come into the promised land, where his great leader, Moshe Rabbeinu, was not going to be able to get in there, and he is going to die, or he's going to pass away. He's going to be and lie with his forefathers. And he basically is asking the Creator at least to go to the mountain. The Creator allowed it to go to the mountain and to see the land that was going to be for Israel. After all the years, all that he has done, he couldn't cross the other side. And he needed to pass the baton to his second, who was Yehoshua. You know, and Yehoshua was the leader for that time. There is always a leader for a time. Moshe fulfilled his time. Now come the change of the guard, and we are going to have a new leadership. I am praying that the world will have a good leader. The problem that we do not have. And that is very sad. We have dictators, we have bosses, we have people that the only thing that they care is about themselves, about the image, instead about the caring about the people. Those great leaders have disappeared. Now we have, like I said to you, politicians. And who are the politicians? A politician is the demagogue. Is the one that is going to tell you what you want to hear. They want to tell to the other what they want to hear. They want to tell the other what they want to hear. And they have their own plan. And what the plan of themselves is how much money they can accumulate. You know, it's very interesting. These people, supposedly, they come to serve the rest of the people, and they come with the empty pockets. And when they come out of that leadership, they become millionaires. We had an example, and I don't want to mention names now, but we have greatest examples about that. Of leaders, supposedly, that the world adored them. You know? But they don't see the reality of these people. They don't see the moral turpitude of these people. I was saying to you last week and the other weeks about that we are more concerned today about being theological correct, to be political correct, you know, to be sociological correct. When the Torah requested by our Creator, blessed be his name, he requests us to be moral and ethical correct, to do the things that are right for everybody, not for only a little group. And this is the problem that we are living. And this is why this parasha is so important to understand it, not in the literal way, but understanding about the principle what the Torah is trying to give us at the end of these 4 books. By the way, among our sages, among our teachers, many of them, they say that really the Torah is these 4 books. You know, the 5th book, the Barim, that was written by Moshe Rabbeinu as his own thoughts about afterthought before he died, retelling to the new generation what he went through. You know, it's more a recount, you know, of these 4 books. Of course, there are new things that maybe not everything was put in the books. Can you imagine trying to put everything the Creator did with Israel during those 40 years? It's impossible. The most important things are brought. And this is what we need to see about why, for example, our Creator mentioned these 42 places in the journey. And you need to analyze what happened in these 42 places. And sometimes those places don't even, you cannot put it together, but they has a meaning. What is the meaning? God took them from one place to another. They camped, and then the Anan and the Ash, they move. The Anan, the cloud, and the fire, they move and they follow. What is teaching there? Who is the one that is leading them? It's not Moses. Who is the one that is leading them? The Creator. And they follow the cloud, and they follow the fire. Today, I wish that we can go back to those times to allow Him to lead us, not to be led by people who they don't even know who they are. And this is the problem of the world. Because many of us, we have not taken in consideration the beautiful principle of the Torah and what the Torah has given to us. You see, we have taken this wonderful revelation of the Creator as a book of laws instead to take it as a book of principles and teachings and guiding. And this is a problem, because when we become legalistic, we lose the sight of what really we need to do. Legalism doesn't bring us to reality and to the truth. Legalism many times brings us to fanaticism and to blindness. We need to understand today what is applicable today. Not about, say black, and needs to be black here. No. What we need to say, what is this color here, and how we can interpret it today. This is the idea about looking at the Torah for what it is, not for what we want supposedly the Creator is telling us. And it's a process. And it's not easy, by the way. Because sometimes all of us, we have our concerns, all of us, we have our ideas, and all of us has our own way to understand. You know, this idea, through use, through opinions, we know that is a matter of truth. When we go to the Sheve al Peh, to the oral Torah, if some of you has delved in it, and you see it there, you're going to see the discussion among our sages. And you can see very easily that there are 3 different opinions in one subject. And they do not agree. And then when they say it is, you are right, and you are right too. What it means is that the whole truth is only on the hands of the Creator. But we as men, we have partial truth. You know, it's interesting, in the Barim, in Deuteronomy, at the end, there is a portion that says, the thing that the Creator has revealed to men is for men to know. But the thing that He has not revealed to men is for men not to know. Do you know that to all our times, the first thing that all men is trying to find is the thing that He didn't reveal to us? We are not happy with what He has revealed to us. We are not even interested to know what He has revealed to us. What we are looking for is what He has not revealed to us, and we are asking and telling people what it means and what we think it means. One of the things in the theology of all the religions, one of the greatest elements is called eschatology. The idea about the end times. And if you have studied theology, you are going to see how the different opinions. And everybody has the opinion about what is going to happen. The problem is that a creator says not to know. A creator says not to count. A creator says it's not to us to know. He will tell us when the time comes. But we know, we need to know. And not only we know, we tell what he wants to say us, and we correct him because he's wrong and we are right. That it is human beings. Then we have the chutzpah to tell the Creator what he's wrong and how we can make it better. And that's how our sages, our religious leaders are trying to accommodate. We're living these times. You know, from one side we have the politicians, from the other side we have the religious people. And what it has in common, both sides? Money. The golden calf. How much is going to come to my pockets? You will be surprised that most of these, what we call a very clever and very popular religious leaders, and very clever and very popular politicians, one thing that they don't lack is money. The pockets are full. Who are they serving? The golden calf, or they are serving the Creator? This is a problem. Here, in this parasha, the Creator is going to bring the people and say, you know, when you give your word, keep it. You cannot break your word. This is a very important principle. Then it's going to talk about the next portion in this parasha is about to get even, supposedly people call it, with the Midianites and the Moabites for what they did to Israel. You know, and the Moshe Rabbeinu, under the direction of the Creator, he's going to send 12,000 men, 1,000 from each tribe, to fight the Midianites and the Moabites. And interestingly enough, no one soldier dies. You know, they fight. You know, and they destroy. And then what they do, they bring the booty or the bounty, you know, after they destroy these people. And what they bring, the first thing that they bring, all the women. You know, and was the women who made them all this catastrophe, you know. But this is our human being, you know, that's inner being. And then Moshe Rabbeinu get very upset. And they need to go through the process of cleansing and the tahorot, you know, to make everything right. Wars are terrible. And when you are the winner, you vanquish the defeated one, and you destroy them. And you read it and you think that is the way. But what is the principle that our Creator is trying to teach us? That's the second one. The third one is about we can see the problem with in the journeys going from one place to another. No? And in every stop that they do, something happens, and there is a related situation to make the people of Israel in those experiences to learn from those situations. But we do not know how to express it or to understand it. Why? What is the principle behind all of this that the Creator is trying to teach us? If you look a little bit farther or you focus a little better, you can see something very interesting. Do you remember teaching you about that the greatest gift that our Creator has been giving to us is free will? And what I mean free will, that each one of us will have the right to make our own decisions. It's totally freedom. But also has an idea, a collateral idea. To have the right to make your own decisions, that means that you are responsible for those decisions. What is the word today? Where we are? most of us, we justify our actions. They made me do it. He made me do it. She made me do it. All the time, we blame somebody else for our actions. We never take responsibility for what we have done. Look at the best example are the politicians. They will never ever say, I committed a mistake, I did something wrong. Totally the contrary. The circumstances forced me to do it, or the situation, or I was deceived. But how few people do you know about their personal turpitude that they know and they are honest and they say, I did wrong, I'm sorry. We don't find those people anymore. We are in desperate situation. We are right now in a very chaotic situation. And it's very interesting that we are in this period, and the period of sorrow, a period that we need to wake up, and the period of the year that we need to start analyzing ourselves. Because it's very easy to talk about others. But in order that you were able to talk about others, first you need to start with yourself. And this is what is so important today. And this parasha is basically leading us, teaching us about restriction. What it means, restriction? I have the freedom. I can do whatever I want to do. But because I am responsible for my acts, I need to know how far I can go and when I need to stop, when I need to open my mouth, and when I need to keep my mouth quiet. Not to be loud means that you are better. And not to be quiet means that you are better. You know, in Mishlei, in Proverbs, they say that a man that even that is not smart, keep his mouth quiet, looks that he is smart. You know? And sometimes we need to learn to keep our mouth shut. But sometimes we need to keep our mouths open. My father, who loved to read the scriptures, he gave me one of his favorite scriptures. And many people will think, you know, the favorite scripture will be something very special. This is his favorite scripture that he gave it to me. And I live unto this, and this is so important to me. It's in Mishlei, in Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9. I have mentioned to you that several times, and this is the time to mention this portion. It says, open your mouth for those ones who cannot speak for themselves, in the causes that are appointed to die. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead for those who they cannot defend themselves, for the poor and the needy. In other words, speak for those ones that cannot speak for themselves. Defend those ones that are feeble and they cannot defend themselves. My father was a champion about justice. In our Jewish soul, in our Jewish neshama, for every Jew I know, that is something that has been put in our hearts. Righteousness, to be just. Sometimes we like to fight for the underdog. There are some here that are more for the underdog than others, but we like to fight for the underdog. That's part of who we are. And you are not, and you come to be part of this Jewish community, or this Jewish place, or this Israelite place. You are understanding what I am saying because you are changing and looking in this way. And that's because he has brought you here to understand in this way. You see, the existence of us is not for our sake, it's for the sake of the others who are not here. I used to like, I had several themes in my head about this community. One of those is, I like to use Yeshayahu Hanavi, the prophet Yeshayahu Hanavi, who say, Ki beiti, beit tefillah, vayikare, lechol ha'amim. This will be a house of prayer for all the nations. I love that. I like this one that I just read to Mishlate about to open our mouths for those ones that they cannot defend themselves or they cannot take care of themselves. But another theme that I talk about this community is the reason that we exist is for those ones who are outside these four walls. Because we need to understand that we are here and we have a calling. And that calling is to serve, not to be served. And this is the reason that we are not popular and we are not a majority. Because we are not offering anybody's goodies. People come to the place, there are places that are full, and they are not even room, like big theaters, big places, like a stadium. They fill it up, these preachers, and they are so full of themselves, a lot of honey in their mouths, and they make you feel good. And then you leave this place feeling good. And people want to feel good. And I say, please, it is time that we will be more honest with ourselves because we have been called to serve, not to be served. This is religion. This is politics. This is to be with a winner. We want to be with a winner. And you are a bunch of losers because you are not with the winners. And the truth of the matter is that Creator is teaching us restriction. Because He has given us the truth. We have His word. We have His will. We have what He wants for us and for the world. And sometimes we need to shut our mouth because we see things that are happening and we cannot dare to say anything because the world will jump over us. And they are going to call us fanatics. They are going to call us bigots. They are going to call us narrow-minded. They are going to call us every name that they can find because we do not agree with this world. It is time. It is time that we look for what we are. You see, if we were very popular, we wouldn't have an empty chair. And more, we have less and less. And we get ourselves a little bit confused. Not long ago, somebody came to me and said, Rabbi, if you are so sure that you are speaking in the name of the Creator, if you think that you are teaching something good from the Creator, wouldn't the people come and fill this place? What are we doing wrong? Let me ask you this question. If you offer something free and they don't cost anything, and the same product you offer for amount of money, for a price, where the people are going to go? It's free. Why? Doesn't cost me anything. But to serve the Creator has a cost. And it's not easy. It's a burden sometimes. Ask Moshe Rabbeinu how many times he wanted to quit. How many times I want to quit. Because we don't see people responding. We see like the ears, the people are deaf, and we are speaking to the walls. But there's a reason. You know, the name of this community is called Shear Yashuv. Many people don't understand. This comes from the name of the second son of Yeshayahu, the prophet Isaiah. And what it means, this is also like they call it prophetic stem. I'm sorry. Lost my keeper. This is a prophetic idea. And what it means is the remnant shall return. Do you know that each one of us that we are in this place, we are the remnant? Remnant doesn't mean the majority. Remnant means the least. Leftovers. And that's who we are. We are not charismatic. We cannot fool anybody, because the problem is that we cannot fool. We need to tell the truth. And when you tell the truth, doesn't matter if you like it. You know, there was a movie about liar, liar, liar. The poor guy, was a liar, and then he makes something happen to him, and then from that moment he couldn't lie. Man, it's very hard when you cannot lie. And you need to say the truth. We have been called that. At the same time, like I mentioned to you before, and this is important to put it all in context. You know, our Messiah Yeshua, when he came to bring us back to Torah. He didn't came to start a new religion. He didn't come to crown himself as God. He came here to bring us back to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our fathers. Do you know that Yeshua was a Jew? He was an Israeli? Do you know that he was a rabbi, a teacher? Do you know that he was really a prophet? He was a tzaddik, a righteous man? We don't see him like that, because we have created another entity that didn't exist, had never existed. It's in the mind of men, but are not in the reality. Do you think our Creator needs another God? He is not enough God that he needs a supplement? Or he needs something to make us understand that he is God? Well, you can believe whatever you want to, but the truth cannot be changed. Not because you believe strongly about something that make it true. This is the reason that Yeshua said, all of us, we shall know the truth. And that truth will make us free. And you don't understand the times of Yeshua. When he was talking to the people, and he was not talking to any goyim. In other words, he was not talking to Gentiles. He was talking to Israelis. Why I mention this? Because I want that you understand that the people who he talked to understood him. He was not misunderstood like the Gentiles did. He was speaking to his own people, and they understood. When he said, in a euphemistic way, is talking because at that time the name of the Creator couldn't be pronounced. The tetragrammaton was already eliminated from our mouths. We couldn't mention, because that was one of the sages thought, you shall not announce or say the name of the Creator in vain. You know, in the in the Ten Commandments. Then they interpreted that you can never mention his name. What it means is you cannot mention his name in vain. But it doesn't mean that you cannot pronounce his name. But that is totally an interpretation. And following that very strict interpretation, at the time of Yeshua, there was already a tradition. You don't mention his name. What you do is you use a euphemistic term, something that will everybody understand that he's talking about the Creator. How he does? He used the word true. You shall know the truth. I have repeated this so many times, and sadly enough, very few people understand what I'm trying to say. When he says, you shall know, Yeshua is saying, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. He doesn't say, you shall know me, and I'm going to make you free. And what it means, the truth. The truth means, it's a euphemistic term, emet, interestingly enough, among the Jewish people, the rabbis, the word emet is a very important word, who represents the Creator. The first letter is Aleph, the middle letter is Men, and the last letter is Tav, the Sofit, the ending. Emet. Beginning, middle, and end. That is the Creator. The Hebrew alphabet. That is the Creator. Then you shall know the Creator. But what is the understanding about knowing? Judea in Hebrew. Do you think it is, I want to get my Bible, and I'm going to memorize the Bible, and then I'm going to have enough knowledge in the Western civilization understanding. I'm going to memorize, and then I'm going to know better. You cannot memorize the Creator. The Creator is alive. What he's saying it is, you shall know the truth. You will have an intimate relationship with the Creator. Intimate relationship with the Creator. You are going to be one with Him, because He allows you that. Do you know what is the privilege as us, as human beings, to have that personal relationship with Him? That's what Yeshua is teaching us through the Torah. Judea, to know. But to know in the understanding of the Hebrew scriptures, not in the Greek Hellenistic understanding about philosophy. It's about relationship, mutual relationship. It's like a man and a woman, husband and wife, they know each other. This is the idea about totally interaction. And once you have that relationship with Him, you shall be free. And we need to understand what it means, freedom. People think freedom means to do whatever we want to do. That's to be liberty. You see, true freedom brings responsibility. True freedom brings that you know what to do and you know when to stop. True freedom doesn't mean that because I can do it, I need to do it. Totally the contrary. True freedom means to stop when you needed to be stopping. That means what I call this parasha, to be restrained. How many of us, we exercise this value of auto-restraint? Because that's what it makes us in the Talmud, in the Pirkei Avot. There is a saying, an idea like this. You know, if the man cannot restrain himself or cannot control himself, he's not a man. Cannot be a man. You know, I have been a counselor for almost 40 years. And I have dealt with a lot of type of situations. One of the saddest situations when I started counseling was with addictions. And you know, to me what is the saddest part is that many of us, we have what we call a very addictive personality. And we get hooked to something. And when we get hooked to something, that something becomes our God. And the most difficult thing is to break addictions. Our Creator say, be careful. Take the distance. Check yourself. Don't abuse. Because everything that God created, blessed be His name, was good. At the end of Bereshit, in the first chapter, say, and He was glad with everything that He made. Everything that exists today, everything that exists today is good. Has a reason, a purpose. Who make it good or bad? Us. The way that we use it. You know, in the scriptures, say to drink wine is good. It's for the joy of life. But in the other part, he say, don't be under the what you call the reddest of the wine. In other words, from one thing is, to have joy is good, but drunkenness is wrong. In everything. You know, we have a lot of drugs today from plants. Our Creator gave it to us for something good, for healing, for making us better. But the abuse of these drugs brings destruction. If you don't use the things on the right way, it's destruction. You know, one of the greatest drugs that today is very sellable? It's called sex. All over the world. Pornography has become a real industry. You know? And people are hooked to something like that. And the worst part is that demeaning the woman, demeaning the children, demeaning everything, demeaning the character of everyone. And now we fight against certain things. But the truth of the matter is, our Creator is teaching us that each one of us are responsible for ourselves. I cannot say, my mother made me do it. In the home that was born, that was the reason why I am the way that I am. Okay, maybe you come from a very difficult upbringing. Maybe you come from a very difficult situation. But you become an adult, and you start thinking for yourself. And then you need to be responsible for your actions. You cannot be blaming the rest of your life, your mommy or your daddy, for what they didn't give it to you. Totally the contrary, even in the Ten Commandments. You know, the fifth commandment, honor father and mother. And they don't say, honor your father and mother if they were good to you. Why doesn't say the scripture that for they were good to you? What is no condition? Because they were the one that gave you life. It's the life. And the life that the Creator gives to you. Because He said to you, also in the Barim, I am giving two choices. From this side, I give you life. And from this side, I give you death. I ask you to choose life. I want that you choose life. Let me bring now back together to all the things that I have been trying to tell you, many during all these years. You know, our Creator make us. Each one of us, we have been made in a marvelous way. Psalms 139. He doesn't commit mistakes. There are no two of us alike, and each one of us has something special. We are a privilege before the Creator because He has made us special. Always we need to find the reason why we are here, and that maybe will take us all the rest of our life. But it's wonderful, the journey, to find why we are here. And we need to learn to be responsible with our own actions and how we project ourselves to others. And remember this, we need to be humble, not because we can be humble, but we need to learn to understand. There is no perfection on us. Because we are human beings. And human beings, we are going to commit mistakes. This is the reason the Creator has given the opportunity, like it's given today, Teshuvah. We are in the process of getting there. And what I mean, the Teshuvah? The process of Teshuvah is acknowledging our faults and making them right. And that process is always a rebuilding of our own, redoing ourselves. When you do not care about your behavior, when you do not care about your actions, when you do not care about others, you become destructive. And that's what our Creator is teaching us. That's what our Messiah, Yeshua, came to teach us. He said to us, you know, when you pray to the Creator, pray in this way. What He didn't say, when you pray, pray to me in this way. You see, you're going to see many things that have been taught. They are not true. But people have believed it. And again, I'm going to go to this point. Not because you repeat it 1,000 times, make it true. There is only one truth, it's His. Blessed be His name. And we are in the process to find the truth. This is the reason that we need to learn about restriction. We need to learn about that we have a lot of responsibilities in ourselves as human beings. And let me finish with this point that will be something that will help us for the rest of our walk. Each one of us that we are here, we are very important. We matter. We are special. Don't look about how little we are or how small we are. Look at the privilege that Creator has given to you to be special. Look at yourself and say, thank you that you have made me a very special person. That I don't need to be like the others, following whatever new thing comes. But we are following you. You know, today, fashion is very important. And most of us, we are hooked to the TV to look what is the new, instead to look about what is permanent. We are more interested about what is the fashion than what is the truth. Let's go back to basics. Let's not complicate our life. That's what our Messiah Yeshua came to tell us. You know, blessed are those who are poor of spirit, because they are the ones that are going to inherit it, the kingdom of heaven. In other words, blessed are those who really humble themselves before the Creator, because they are going to be in His presence. That's what our Creator wants for us. Shabbat Shalom.